Hey everybody, video here for you. Thought I'd do a quick request video. Got a message a few days ago and this one came in at perfect timing. This person lives in Valparaiso, Indiana. It says, Chuck, I enjoy your Ancient America series. I have heard of Indian mounds in Porter County. Do you know anything about these? Well, I read a couple papers on these and I found this to be pretty interesting. This is just totally lost history. We are going down to Porter County today. There are many sites. I have marked a few of them here. Let's just talk about a few. Local reports. An archaeologist reported a village right down here in this area. This is near 231 and State Road 2, Lost Village. And then right down here in Boone Township, there was a virgin mound. I think it was located right down here. An exact location is not really known, but let's just take a look. Here's a site of the old village today, but it says, J.J. Morrow recalls that together with his brother and other boys of the community, he has unearthed many arrowheads, hatchets, and bones. He has a collection of these early relics. Some of the skeletons have been buried in a horizontal position and others in a sitting position. And that tells me this goes back at least 2,000 years, and these were probably associated with the Adena culture. Here is a virgin mound in 1932 when it was professionally excavated. Here's a look at a 30-foot front of the mound. It was sliced open before it was totally removed here. Here's a look at an archaeologist. Not much on what they found in here. Now, just southwest of Tiny Malden here on 49. This is the site of the lost and forgotten LeCount Mound right down here. You notice the trees covering the mound site. Like a lot of places, let's just read what was found here. The property was owned by a Charles F. LeCount. There was 3 burials found, 3 skeletons found at a depth of 3 to 4 feet in the mound. A leather-wrapped copper celt measuring 5.63 inches in length. A pipe and a piece of pottery were found with the skeletal remains. It says the bones, and this is another account of the excavation here from 1921. The bones of the bodies crumble upon being exposed to the air, but the teeth are remarkably well preserved. The skeletons are those of big men. The state of the bones indicates that the burial took place many years ago. The mound itself is 20 feet high and more than 50 feet across. That is an account of a large body being found in the LeCount Mound. How big? Well, just like some other mounds in Porter County, the bodies were said to be huge or large, but no real good, measurement was taken. So that's a little frustrating. It says the earth composing the mound is clay texture of soil that is proof against weathering. There are 3 other mounds on the LeCount farm, and these will be excavated by the LeCount boys, not professional archaeologists. Just southwest of Couts, Indiana, right here on Route 49, the Weiss Mound once sat right down here. Here's a farmer with the Weiss Mound cut open right nearby. Some bones exposed here. Group of reburials, it says. It's a little frustrating, not getting a length or any details on the skeletal remains in this mound. Here's a 1932 map of the area where the Weiss Mound was right there. Here on Google Earth, this is where it exists today, right here. The largest mound in Porter County was right down here. The Wark Mound, it's just located out in the middle of nowhere today. Totally lost to history. Can you see anything here? Not really, but this is where it was located. Let me show you what that looked like. Here's a farmer's field from 1931. All that was left of the Wark Mound, just a slight raise in the land here, but burials were found down here. Here's a grainy pic from a newspaper article from 1956. Children playing on the old Indian mound here near Boone Grove. Here is a map from 1855. Wark Mound. It's a pretty good sized mound right here. By 1931, it had been pretty much plowed away. Just a slight rise remained, as I showed. And shortly after, just gone, plowed under. Here is where it exists today. Let me back out. This is just to the east, northeast of Boone Grove in Indiana. Here's a pic from the Franz Green Mound. This was part of the Wark Mound group down here. This pic comes from 1915, what was left of the Franz Green Mound. But what was found in here, very interesting, a very strange skull. Let's take a look. Here's a skull from the Franz Green Mound. This was excavated in 1932 by Gilbert McAllister. That is a pretty strange looking skull, and he notes the artificial deformation of the skull here. Some of these bodies were said to be just large. Some were said to be huge, but no exact measurement was taken. Here is the Franz Green Mound in the far right here, where the guy is standing, just the top of it there, where that strange skull was found. This is the Almond Mound right nearby, picked from about 90 years ago. I want to thank everybody for sending in their suggestions. This one just came in at a perfect time. I really wasn't even going to make a video today. I am going to upload a music video sometime this weekend. I have a friend who's sending me a video as we speak here. But this site here, very interesting. This whole county seems to be full of ancient villages and lost history, that is for sure. I will leave this link below. This goes into a lot more mounds than I will cover here. It says at least 42 Native American mounds existed at one time in Porter County. With 42, I think those are talking about the larger mounds. There was probably a lot of smaller mounds. It says most of these mounds have been leveled due to farming practices, development, and destruction from early archaeological digs and curiosity seekers. Now, before I show a last mound site in Porter County, why don't we go over to Walkerton, right here in nearby St. Joseph County. Find was made here a while ago. Here's a newspaper article coming from about 100 years ago, South Bend, Indiana. 8 skeletons, one of them clad in copper armor, and a hoard of rare war weapons and bits of personal adornment have been found in a mysterious mound on the farm of Grove Vosberg near Walkerton. Vosberg, a 70-year-old farmer, had long desired to know the secret of the mounds, which according to local tradition dates back hundreds of years, probably a couple thousand years. Secretly excavating upon the pile of earth, he came upon the strange burial place. Giant skeletons, the 8 skeletons lay in circular formation, arranged like the spokes of a wheel with skulls together. Copper breastplates, bands, and other bits of armor adorned the skeleton of one man, who apparently had been of giant stature. Embedded in his skull was a beautifully chipped flint arrowhead. And giant skeletons, these were reported to be over 8 feet tall. How much faith can you put on a newspaper report from 100 years ago? Well, that's up to you, I guess, to determine, but that's pretty interesting. But I will have to say that the way the copper artifacts are described here reflects other burial site. The way the bodies are laid out in a spoked wheel fashion reflects other burial sites. And it talks about the strange skulls here, not of Indian types. The skulls seem to have little forehead, and the eye cavities are high in the head. Now, why don't we head up to the very north of Porter County? I just want to show this one site right up here. It's close to Lake Michigan. Right down here is the site. This is called the Indiana Dunes National Park Bailey Cemetery. You can just see a little glimpse of it in the trees here. Let me show you what this looked like 90 years ago. Here's the site on a postcard from 1930. This place is built on top of a burial mound here. That's what was reported at the time. And it's just north of Valparaiso. And that's where I got the message from. Now, while snooping around, I found this on Brian Forster's Hidden Inca Tours website. Giant skeleton found, Valparaiso, Indiana. I think this comes from over 100 years ago. While the steam shovels of the Knickerbocker Sand Company were loading sand at Dune Park on the shore of Lake Michigan, they unearthed a well-preserved skeleton 7 feet 2 inches in length, and is supposed to be that of a member of an early tribe of Indians. Mound Builders probably is a more correct term. It was found nearly 30 feet underground. Just found this one to be an interesting one to do. Snoop around on Google Earth. Look at these old pics from the 1930s, these mound sites here with burials of large men. How large? Who knows? That skull is pretty interesting, coming from a mound site that might be 2,000, 2,500 years old, coming from either the Hopewell or Adena culture here. So that is some lost history coming from Porter County in Indiana. Some sites here totally lost to history. They haven't gone a long time, probably about 75 years. Just some minor excavation was done by a few archaeologists. A lot of reports came from the people, the farmers themselves. Large people, strange skulls. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have. Very safe day.